It's been an exhausting week, and it's only Wednesday.
I saw a number of tweets that this week or these last couple of days that were relating to that. Well, it's been 1,000 years since yesterday, so
Pretty much.
yeah. So this is are we going to make this a depressing episode?
I I will try not to.
I chose a couple topics that are related, so it might be rough. So, but how are you? And how other than the world having issues, how was your week?
that's that's one way to put it. I don't know. It was good. We got the family. We all started figuring out what we're gonna do and pulling things together, some plans on how we're going to handle school, how we're going to handle groceries, how we're going to handle all sorts of stuff. And yeah, so it just a bit tiring. And daughter number one, who is away at school, just happens to be in the school in Utah where they had the 5.7 magnitude earthquake. And she said, well, baby, I'll come home now. So.
All we need are some fires and floods, maybe a super volcano. We'll see. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. Since school in Oregon was canceled, as of last week, and then as of last night, the governor said that not to open up until April 28th, something like that. And, I think we'll just not plan on April 28th, and we'll just wait and see how things develop over the course of the next month is the way I am viewing that.
Exactly.
I think that there was a whole news segment this morning about the graphics going around that, the U.S. trend is following Italy's trend. And, I don't know if you saw that or saw the same graphs, and that that doesn't actually apply because, the density of population per unit area, Italy is a much smaller country with, people per square meter, I guess, is different. And so it's kind of misleading. And in my head, I'm like, it's not really about the area. It's just purely about the numbers. Like when you're talking about doubling every 3 days or whatever it is, I get how the density can exacerbate things, but I think that we need to be cautious enough in the United States so that in a few months, when we look back, we can be like, maybe we shouldn't have been so cautious. If that's the way we are, then we will have succeeded in avoiding the worst.
If you don't have anything happen, then people say, well, it wouldn't have happened anyways. If you do have something happen, then you're glad you did it. So it's like insurance.
Yeah.
You hope you never have to use it, but you're still irritated that you make the payment every month or every 6 months.
That's right. Well, I did have one little fun thing that I did last weekend. Well, actually, it's taken me a couple of weekends just for time because I only really get maybe an hour or so. But I made a bunch of mason bee boxes. Not a bunch. I made 5, but I'll throw a picture. I threw a picture in our shared album, but I just hung them up tonight. Painted them the last couple days, and they're basically they look like hexagons, like a cell of a bee.
So are you trying to attract bees to them? What's the point of a mason bee hive?
Mason bees are the earliest pollinators. They're generally native. Well, you can have them shipped in, but they're generally native, and they're the earliest pollinators. So they will hatch out in March. We have a bunch hatching out already. And a friend of mine last year gave me some mason bee cocoons, and so I did it last year just for a lark. And I don't think I had the house well positioned. And so I got a bunch of cocoons, but I liked them and I wanted to do them again. It's, they don't produce honey or anything like that. It's just purely a pollination thing, and pollinators are good for the environment and happy to watch. But so this year I cleaned up all my cocoons from last year, and they're still sitting up in my refrigerator. Ironically, yes, I have insects in my fridge, and I also bought a couple other cocoons from local farm store, and then I didn't really like the house that I bought at Costco last year, and so I built some of my own, and I did a prototype one that was like gigantic, and I realized, whoa, that's way too big. And then my next ones that I was doing, I kind of got a little bit better with each one, kind of experimenting with how best to cut 60-degree angles and get them all to gel, which none of them are nice, but they're good enough for the bees. The bees won't care. I'm probably the only person that'll look at it and go, see, there's this gap here. I didn't, but anyway. So I finished painting them. Last couple evenings I've gone out and thrown a little coat of spray paint on them. So I hung them up tonight and put out some cocoons, and then over the next 2 weeks I'll put out a few more cocoons every couple of days, and then hopefully they will survive and thrive better this year than they did last year, because last year I had them in a place that was way too hot, just really, really sunny. So anyway, so that was fun.
Nice.
You can see the picture.
We've taken to pulling out old recipes. We made my grandma's orange rolls.
Ooh, orange rolls are delicious.
We dug up that recipe and went and made orange rolls, and it requires a lot of flour and stuff, and we went looking, and we're like, oh, we're almost out of flour. We should run to the grocery store and get some more flour. Guess what? I was not able to find at 4 different grocery stores.
Yeah, all those dry goods.
Yeah, we didn't go till almost 9 o'clock at night, so...
All right.
I see you threw in a breach of the week.
I did throw in a breach of the week. As I was going through the links and stuff that I had thrown in Slack, I realized, ooh, okay, well, here we go. This doesn't need to be a topic. It can be the breach. So this is everything is either an unsecured Mongo Elasticsearch or AWS S3 bucket.
Yeah.
And this is the latter. So this is a UK printing company called Docs Zoo that had 250,000 customer uploaded files, presumably to be printed, left on a AWS S3 bucket with no password required.
Ouch.
Yeah. The thing is, you're sending stuff to be printed. Is it stuff that you want to be public, or is it, you're printing out 100 copies of a particular thing for something internal?
Right.
Certainly could have been, or could be, a lot of interesting data up there that might have gotten slurped off and put in some, document collection somewhere.
Yep.
But the other thing though that I found ironic in this one is the spokesperson for the company says, they're claiming not everything's okay necessarily, but that, they're handling it appropriately. And they said, and this is a quote, "We have already sought guidance from the ICO on our data security and the precautions we take." Oh, well, good for you. But a spokesperson for the UK's Information Commissioner's Office, ICO, said it has not received a notification of a security lapse from Docs Zoo. So, this is something that you tell your kids. Just never lie. It'll come out. So, who knows? I'd like to try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the spokesperson was told that they were. Maybe they were still drafting the letter. Maybe it'll happen. But, if you're talking to a reporter, oof, yeah.
Reporters usually follow up and make sure they have this thing called fact checking.
Well, it's kind of their job. It's not like everybody does their job these days. But
Yeah.
But we can all live in hope, and I think it's a good idea to act under the expectation that your facts will be checked. So, anyway, there's the breach.
There's the breach. All right. Well, my topic, and I know you have similar topics, and my topic actually touches on a couple of yours, so I'll mostly stick to the topic I wanted to chat about was during any kind of emergency, that's when the scammers come out. And the FTC has a great article, short little article linking on what you can do to avoid coronavirus scams. And it's all the same information that we know and love, right? Don't click on links from sources you don't know. There's a lot of information and more misinformation going out on all the social media channels. So just avoid clicking on things because they would download a digital virus onto your computer, potentially. Yeah. Pay attention to emails just that claim they're coming from places that should have valid data, that claim they're telling you we got this data from the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, or the World Health Organization. Maybe actually go to the World Health Organization or the CDC's website. Try to stick to legitimate websites for your information, and don't just assume that because someone tweeted the CDC said this and tweets a screenshot, which you see, it's probably may not be accurate. So make sure you pay attention.
A lot of doctoring going on.
Yeah. Pay attention to what you're actually consuming and what you're believing. And one of the other things I thought was interesting, because I hadn't seen this one before, was to ignore online offers for vaccinations. There are currently no vaccines, pills, potions, lotions, lozenges, or other prescription or over-the-counter products available to treat or cure coronavirus, online or in stores.
Are you sure?
I was not aware.
Are you sure?
That this was a problem, I suppose.
I think I need a lotion.
I do like potions and lotions.
Potions and lotions.
They're covering all their bases here.
Oh gosh.
And don't just listen to me, but if you read the articles or read about how vaccines are created, etc., it's probably a year out, or not quite a year out still, before there is any kind of potential vaccine available. So there is only treatment and ways to treat it coming, and you should get that information from the CDC or the World Health Organization or your state or local governments. And then finally, just do your homework if you're going to donate. If you have the means, there are a lot of people that are going to be affected by this, not just medically, but financially, with jobs that are going away and slow down in the economy. So if you are able to find a charity that you know and trust and make a donation on your terms, don't get pushed into making a donation because someone banged on your door or sends emails or you get links on your favorite social media sites. If you have the means, please do donate. And that's really, I know it's kind of a downer. I'm trying to make the downer an upper here. That's my topic. Just remember, there are scams.
It is a good reminder. It's not that. Well, it is that people are trying to take advantage of the situation, but I think almost even more than the fact that the bad guys are more active is the fact that the good guys are more vulnerable because of the intense interest, need for information. Just people are more likely to click on things that they might have thought twice, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So wash your hands.
Yes, for 20 seconds.
Although I've been washing my hands a lot, and I'm trying to figure out if I got scraped or if my hands are just getting really dry on the right-hand side. And I actually put lotion on my hands I almost never need to use lotion. But I've got some cracks coming on my hand that maybe it's due to washing my hands so much. I don't know.
I think so.
So maybe I need some more gentle soap. I don't know, but I'm actually like, my hand hurts. I need a kiss. Maybe a Band-Aid. All right. So yeah, my first topic is related to that, which is the fact that in the gold rush of information vacuum, I guess, and information frenzy, there are thousands of scam and legit, but new domains related to COVID being created every day. Most of which, the vast majority of which are scams. So there's the article that we're putting in here. Evidently, I'm a all ZDNet tonight for my topics. Sorry, Catalan is awesome. There were two basic links that he was referring to as sort of sources in this, but the first of which was a researcher that claimed that crooks have created more than 3,600 new domains that contain the string coronavirus between March 14th and 18th. So just in those 4 days, 3,600 domains. And then Risk IQ, which is another company, broadened the scope a little bit more than just coronavirus, but I think they did COVID-19 and some coronavirus, right. Some other variations on that. And they saw more than 13,000 suspicious domains on Sunday, the 15th, 35,000 on Monday, 17,000 it says the day after that, which I guess would be yesterday as we're recording this. So, that's a lot of domains. And most of them are potions and lotions and spam, right, and malware and, lots and lots of suspicious sites.
Or just trying to get people to click on ads, just doing ad clicking.
Sure.
It's the digital equivalent to the guy back east who has, what was it, 13,000 bottles of Purell that he now can't unload because eBay and Amazon, et cetera, have cracked down on people overcharging.
Right.
Yeah. So it's the digital equivalent as well. Not all are probably scams per se. They're probably websites with a couple interesting links, but then a whole ton of ads to try to garner clicks and get a few pennies here and there.
Yeah, maybe. I drilled in. I drilled in. And
oh, did you look?
What's that?
Did you look closer?
There is there was a picture in the article of a site that basically was listing a few of the domains as giving a scrolling list of domains as they're being created, because you can imagine that, as the if they're creating 15,000 a day, that's a lot of domains every minute. So these are things like coronacontroller.com.br, coronatracker. I can't quite read that, samabox.com. Yeah. There's just tons and tons and tons. So gotta be careful about that. And then the second part of this one, though, is that there are also malware attempting to use this too. So there was an Android app that made it into the App Store that was a coronavirus tracker that was actually ransomware, and locked the device after you installed it and attempted to extort a ransom. The article said, though, that they must have taken apart the APK and tried to disassembled it or something like that, but it had a hard coded unlock key. So if you type in those I forget how long the thing was, 12 digits, you get it back. So, opportunistic, somebody just throwing it out, but be careful, be careful. So that's kind of along the lines of you're talking of, be careful. People are really at it. The second article that I pulled out, though, was more about like really criminal targeting in the same vein, though. One of the things that's happened a lot in the past 12 months, maybe even the last couple of years, is ransomware attacking hospitals. Mm-hmm. The healthcare sector has been very targeted, and we need to be careful that it is not taken advantage of, obviously where we live, but around the world during these times, right? Because now, in the best of times, taking out a hospital is really impactful to people's lives, but over the course of the next couple of months, it could be dramatically consequential. So this is a Czech hospital that was hit by a cyber attack. They did not actually say ransomware, so at least not in the article that I saw. It could have been something else. My guess, based on the past 12 months of history, is that it is probably something like that. And then they also said, there was a comment in here that said the hospital public announcement system started to repeat the message that all personnel should shut down computers due to cybernetic security. So the fact that that's the case doesn't necessarily mean it was ransomware per se. It could have been something else that was, somebody's on the network if you're worried about transmission between systems. So
right.
And then the reason why that is, particularly impactful in the Czech Republic is it said it's the biggest COVID-19 testing laboratory, or one of the Czech Republic's biggest COVID-19 testing laboratories. And they did have to they said they canceled all the surgeries, transferred patients to a nearby hospital. And so, I'm sure that will have ripple effects.
Yep.
There was a small link at the bottom of the article too about the fact that the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District was hit by ransomware last week as well, which is a little bit closer to home, but they weren't a big COVID-19 testing center though for the country. So
right.
And article kind of ends with what we've been saying here, which is unfortunately in times of crisis, we often see more targeted attacks. So, and I think there's certainly been some noise about some countries kind of stepping up their antics, let's say.
Well, on that note.
All right. Well, that is all the COVID-19 articles that we have. But I did pull out one other one that was just kind of for fun. And
let's just get a good old fashioned regular.
A regular one. Security situation. So this is a study that, who did this? RiskSense. A study that looked at vulnerability disclosures between 2010 and 2019 and found that around 55% of all the security bugs that were weaponized and exploited in the wild were for two major app frameworks, WordPress and Struts.
Ouch.
Apache Struts. Now it was some careful wording around there. You gotta be careful about that. It was vulnerability disclosures that were weaponized. So the thing about that though is quite a broad range of time, 2010 to 2019, and Java was, well, maybe Java's still huge these days, but it doesn't get the mind share that the newer frameworks have.
Right.
So it goes on to say that least bugs were found in JavaScript and Python frameworks, but they anticipate this will change in the coming years. And I liked this phrasing, as both languages have now become widely and wildly popular. widely and wildly. And their adoption has skyrocketed. So specifically Node.js and Django, which are the JavaScript and Python, most popular JavaScript and Python frameworks, respectively. So I thought that you would appreciate the fact that JavaScript is more secure at the moment. No, not really. That's not what that means. It's not what that means at all.
Hey, good try though.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort.
No. I gotta, like I said, honesty's the best policy. That's not what that means, but it is funny. But so the other thing that I liked pulling out of this, or that I thought was interesting, was the fact that although cross-site scripting bugs were the most common bugs disclosed in the 2010s, the most weaponized ones were injection-based vulnerabilities. So something that allows a attacker to insert their own code that will be run. So it sort of makes sense. Mm-hmm. I thought that was cool. So that's just your run of the mill standard article. that's a little probably not getting as much play as they sure wish that it would have when they were preparing it last month.
Right. Yeah. Everything is on hold.
Yeah.
Should I jump into my little something fun here?
Okay. Yep. Give me something fun.
So my something fun is, frankly, actually, it turned out to be a disappointment.
Oh, well, then that's not fun.
I had this something fun, and it was fun for a while. Because anyway, so what my something fun is it is a HomePwn GitHub repo. It's a Python. It calls itself the Swiss Army knife for pen testing of IoT devices. And I thought, ooh, that would be fun. And it runs on a flavor of Linux, but not. So I thought, well, you know what? I will try. I will see if I can get it up and running on a Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
So I spent probably the last hour and a half before we got to record getting this all up and running on a Raspberry Pi, and it got it all installed, and I had to tweak around with some things, and I actually installed Ubuntu on the Raspberry Pi, so not the Raspbian default.
Okay.
Which I should have gone with the default, but I thought, well, we'll try the Ubuntu flavor for the Raspberry Pi.
It does say that it wants Ubuntu, Debian, or similar.
Yeah, so it might have worked, but. So I got it going, got it all up and running, got the command line, started trying to run a few things, and things weren't quite working. And then the SD card that it was working on started to have writing block issues, and so I lost full control over it. But so I was hoping, my plan when I put my something fun in here earlier was to have this up and running and give some examples of some of the things I actually ran, but I can only just reference the website, which has videos of how to do some of the things. But it was a fun project, I thought, that did not turn out well for me. So maybe I will try it again later.
Yeah, maybe just not yet. That's pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, so I have to ask, since you said Raspberry Pi, did you have pie on Saturday?
For Pi Day?
For Pi Day?
No, we did not have pie. We had orange rolls, which are not pie.
Those are not pie.
But,
All right, well, I honestly, it's the first year in many, many years that we didn't have pie either, but we normally go to Sherry's and get pie. And
well, we have friends who do a pie night, and the entry fee is a pie, and we've done that for a number of years, and for reasons we didn't do that this year. Exactly. Pie night was not in effect.
It was orange roll night. Yeah, well, I mean, I did wear my pie T-shirt, so I felt like I celebrated in my own way. All right. So
well done.
Let's see. Let me go back to our notes. What's my something fun?
Dark matter.
Oh, yes. Dark matter. Oh, yes. Okay. So friend down at work sent this article over, and this is awesome. This is potentially awesome. But I guess either way, whether it's proved true or false, it's still awesome. Okay, so this is hexaquarks could explain dark matter. So you know what dark matter is, right? Well, actually, no, you don't, because none of us knew. So dark matter, we just know that it exists because we can see the drag that it creates on stars and galaxies that we can't account for the matter in any other way. So we know that, we know how much the galaxies have to, quote unquote, weigh based on their rotations, but the visible matter, the visible mass doesn't add up. So that's sort of the formation of why we believe dark matter exists, and we've proven that it exists, but we have never seen it and we don't know what it is. And there's lots and lots of theories about what it might be, and lots of wild theories, lots of physicists thinking of ways that it can be. But this proposal is actually not something wild that we don't know about, that we're, a particle that we haven't yet found in the standard model, for example. This is a more pedestrian, let's say, explanation, and pedestrian explanations are great, especially explanations that have a potential test that might be able to prove them, which they have in this. So this is saying that basically the dark matter could be formed not of some unknown particles, but of quarks that are glued together in ways that are different from our normal matter. So three quarks together make a proton or a neutron, which is what we know of, right? The building, the nucleus of the atoms, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's possible to arrange quarks in other ways to get other more exotic particles. And so this proposal is basically saying that if you have a 6 quark particle, basically, it would be positively charged, but if it captures a electron, it could be neutrally charged. And if those were formed into the equivalent of what they called a Bose-Einstein condensate, which is not exactly like regular matter, then it could be stable, it could have mass, and it would not interact with normal matter. The words they used are, under the right conditions, a Bose-Einstein condensate made of hexaquarks with trapped electrons would have no such barriers, slipping through other kinds of matter like perfectly neutral ghosts. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Okay, so the postulation is that these things would be very hard to create in the universe as we know it today. But there's a possibility that they saw one in 2014 at the, let's see, what did they say? At the Jülich Research Center. So, but it hasn't been confirmed because it was very fleeting. But theoretically, not long after the Big Bang, as in the transition, they say as space transitioned from a sea of hot quark-gluon plasma with no distinct atomic particles into our modern era with particles like protons, neutrons, and their cousins, at the moment when those basic particles formed, the conditions were perfect for other formations, such as this hexaquark. They used the word precipitate from the quark-gluon plasma. That I love that. I love that visual that gives me. So before the transition, the temperature would be too high. After it, density's too low. But, mama bear, just right. Possibly. So anyway, so this is just a theory, But they postulate that if this is true, they should be able to test it with detectors looking for cosmic radiation, but that it would show up as a particular signature in detectors designed to spot cosmic rays, but it would appear as if it was coming from every direction at once, as if the source filled all of space. So, something testable. Testable is cool.
Cool.
So, anyway, that was my something fun. All right, man.
Well,
take care of yourself. Take care of the family. Make sure that everybody stays clean and practice your social distancing.
yeah. The podcast, my boy has been texting me all throughout the podcast while we're recording here of movies he should watch. Apparently he's scanning Netflix or somewhere.
Oh.
And pinging all his friends saying, we're going to make a list of movies to watch. It's like, okay, all right.
Well, with FaceTime, you could both watch a movie, quote unquote, at the same time, but in different rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Now that everybody's got a lot of home time, it's still a good time to listen to podcasts. You can catch up on all your podcasts. Right. You can share podcasts with a friend. You can go rate us on Apple Podcasts. That'd be nice. And and wash your hands again.
Have a good night, John.
All right. I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.
All right. Bye.